Welcome back, guys. We are here at the LCK round 2 of the playoffs. The winner of this one will go up against Dom1 on the next Saturday that is coming up. And Gen.G were just able to tie it up 1-1 with a very dominating performance. I mean, that was really one-sided of the likes of what they looked like up against Afrika. So looking really good coming into game 2. What were your thoughts, LS?
I mean, I felt like Gen.G, they were getting a lot of success on the bot side. They were 6 feet under in top lane, but then as soon as they got bailed out that one time, they never really lost control of the game again. The draft ends up favoring them if they ever get ahead, which I just thought it was going to be really hard to do with some of the matchups. Life is going to get player of the game on the set. Phenomenal performance with his face breakers and haymakers, everything that he was doing in the early game, in the mid game, setting up so much success for Gen.G. And DRX just looked completely lost in this game number 2, and I wonder what that means for game 3.
Yeah, I mean, that can be a tilter. You know, that's definitely going to be a game that affects your mental going into this one. And it's not going to be easy. I mean, DRX do have a lot of young players in their lineup. I'm very curious to see if they can try to, you know, gather themselves for the next one, because even guys like Keria that are normally pretty balanced and aren't doing crazy things kind of just went for some of these confusing plays, but obviously from that point it was a little bit of desperation in that game. So 9 out of 9 votes went the way of life there. I don't think that's any question really. I suppose maybe you give a little bit of benefit over to Clid, but he mostly just farmed and was in the right place at the right time for the team fight. So really it was Life who was getting the proactive plays down and making stuff happen. So it's definitely good that Gen.G have just one more player that can perform at a high level under the pressure.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what this, again, entails going into game 2, because Gen.G, they're probably feeling very good with that kind of a win. That is one of those very, very feel-good wins where you're probably feeling reinvigorated heading into the series after that game 1 loss, which was probably very uncomfortable, especially for Clid. I mean, we saw that he didn't seem to be taking that loss, but in game 2, like you said, he just really found his groove. And then we saw at the end of game number 2, he was feeling very relieved. He went over to BDD. Gen.G are probably in a pretty good headspace, and if they're in a good headspace, they get good drafts, we could just see them take over game number 3. And we'll see how DRX try to resist it this time around. Pioshik probably be on different junglers, not the Volley Bear or something like that. And we'll see if DRX tries to play more towards their sinful nature, because they might actually just need it to overcome this series.
Absolutely. Maybe going for stuff that can dominate even more in the lanes. I mean, the Lucian looked really good for Chovy, but that time on the Azir, he was kind of just sitting back. They went very even in the lane, he and the Zilean, BDD. And then they lost one big team fight, and the world fell apart for them, essentially. As I wonder if we might have a little bit of an issue. I see a lot of referees standing around. Maybe they're just setting up the game. I hope there isn't too much of an issue. Of course, the other day, LS, we we had our musical performances because we had so many pauses. So I hope you've got your guitar ready or whatever you can play. Maybe the only musical instrument you play is the League of Legends, but we at least have that here for game number 3 as we are going into it right now. The pick and ban coming in, and DRX will be on blue for game number 3.
And they're going to open with the Renekton ban. We'll see what Gen.G choose to respond with. They're going to be on blue side now, and after having shown Zilean, you have to wonder what that means in DRX's mind for how they're going to approach the draft here in game 3, because Zilean has a lot of good matchups in mid, and red side is all about properly utilizing counter picks in order to really layer your opponents and try to come up with a better draft. Lucian now being banned away, which is, I guess, you know, they're giving a lot of respect over to DRX with this champion.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that can be pretty good, actually, into the Zilean. So if they are considering going for something that could be a little bit weak to a lane bully, then taking away the Lucian is not a bad idea. Camille also going to be taken off the board here, so they don't want to deal with the Camille this time around. So let's see what DRX are going to take here for their first pick. The Volibear wasn't looking very good in game number 2, so this time around they're going to go with the set.
So that's going to be picked up by them. B1, Gen.G instantly start hovering Ashe and insta-lock Karma to go with her. This is a champion that has been falling a little bit by the wayside ever since her Q nerf that has come in. But this Karma most likely could just end up in bot lane along with the Ashe. We'll have to see how they want to utilize it. DRX now trying to choose a champion. They walk into the Ashe Karma with Braum and Senna, and this surprises me a lot because now they're all short range. Well, Senna's not necessarily short range. They're making the mold of a protect comp right now. We'll see how Gen.G want to respond here. They might just take their jungler if they don't want to give away too much information. But no, they're hovering Twisted Fate, maybe thinking that it was just the Lucian that was really causing problems for BDD in game number 1. And yeah, that's going to be how they're thinking as they lock it in.
Absolutely. And I think there is a very good chance that Chovy could just go straight onto the set. He is one of our big mid-set players, probably the biggest one in the LCK. And we'll see how he feels about that matchup against Twisted Fate. If he's not a fan, maybe he switches it up to some of the other lanes. They're not going to have that flex potential into the bottom side anymore because the Braum is showing, as Lilia is going to get banned here. So they're looking to target Pyosik, and I think that's a pretty good idea, actually. After seeing the difference between game number 1 and 2, just target the weak points of DRX's team. Yeah,
and I mean, Sylas being banned away by DRX is a little surprising. I feel like that's actually telegraphing that maybe an Ornn is being desired, and Gen.G just sort of read that, they ban it away. And now what I'm expecting is that Gen.G will lock jungler on R4, and then they'll give counterpick over to Rascal again. So we'll see what Doran wants to try to pick. Blind here as Akali ends up biting the dust. And so they're actually trying to just give a lot of aid over to Doran in top lane. Skarner being hovered.
Skarner would be really interesting. Don't really see him much here in the LCK, if you guys haven't watched too much. As now we're hovering Olaf, but we'll just switch over to the Volibear this time for Clid. Clid 8-1 on this pick. Very strong pick for Clid himself.
Yeah, and that is the Electric Bear locked in. And now DRX, Nidalee. This is another one of those things. It's not so cut and dry how Nidalee is supposed to play. She's able to basically do everything. And okay, Kennen coming out, and that's gonna be Chovy on set again in mid lane. And this is really worrisome. We might just see something like Jace actually come out here for Rascal. I think that would be a little bit bizarre, but could definitely be what they're thinking about when they see the Kennen. We don't usually get a whole lot of diversity. Ooh, and as I say that, okay, Hecarim is going to actually be picked up here. And now the question is this Volibear in top lane? Is it Hecarim in top lane? What is actually going to go on here? And DRX's team comp, it's really all over the place, Valdez. It's not one of those ones that you feel very comfortable about. They're trying to just do so much at once that it doesn't have a really clear identity. This is just basically good stuff. It's like a toolbox.
Pretty much. I mean, they get some comfort. They get some picks that everybody feels pretty comfortable about, but the way that they work together perhaps is not really all on the same page. Whereas on the side of Gen.G, they obviously have a really nice amount of engage and a very speedy composition at that, with the Mantra Shield that will come out of Karma, alongside of course, a big bear and a big horse. So lots of running forward, lots of Ash Arrows that are going to come out here. I think that Chovy and Carry are going to have to do a lot of frontlining and potentially looking for counter engages with stuff like Set, Braum ultimates, Kennen ultimates late into the team fights if Gen.G do come into them. As here are your compositions going into game number 3.
Yeah, Kennen, Italy, Set, Senna, and Braum. There's a lot of pressure on Piotrek here, and these are the type of comps that always make people very nervous because of that responsibility that is being put on him. Chovy on the Set. This is a pick that he has performed very, very well on, and he can sort of command a lot of control with it, but we'll have to see how he manages to pilot it here. Gen.G's team comp a lot more straightforward and just ultimately easier to play, especially if they get advantages. There's no insurance policy on DRX's side.
Absolutely. And here we have Pointy Hecarim, and that skin has a lot of different pointy objects. Kind of looks like Rammus a little bit, but horse form. And we do see that Piotrek is trying to get a little bit aggressive, you know, trying to see what he can see in the enemy jungles, throwing out some spears, but a pretty defensive ward comes out early from the side of Clid, goes back, switches to the scanner, and is just going to look to do his thing, maybe try not to get invaded this time around. You see a lot of pings around his blue side jungle, and maybe he's calling for some extra warding or perhaps some support from the side of Gen.G to try to get some vision so that he doesn't get invaded by Piotrek once again.
Yeah. We'll see what the opening jungle routes are going to be. I'm not sure if people are still fans of the double Hecarim start. It doesn't look like we're actually oh, no, never mind. We're not going to see it. He's just pulling it up. And obviously Nidalee is going to be solo starting on her red side, so we'll have to see what's going on. Hail of Blades on Braum is going to be pretty interesting. Carry is going to be able to apply that passive very quickly anytime he gets out onto anyone. And we can just see all of the runes now across the board. It's going to be lethal tempo on Ashe, press the attack on the Volibear, as well as shield bash and revival, or second wind.
Oh, what? Carry is like, don't you dare touch my 80 carry. I'm just going to flash in your face. And Ruler actually had to flash because of that.
Yeah.
So a lot of respect being shown to him. And take a look at this. Piotrek once again just comes into the blue buff. There were a lot of pings, but there were no wards. There's nobody checking for that. And Clid just going for a full red side clear for himself is once again going to get invaded by Piotrek.
Yeah, and I mean, right now in mid lane, Chovy is doing a pretty okay job, but Twisted Fate not really falling behind whatsoever. We'll have to see again how the jungle transpires. Keria gets a stun up, but loses a bit of life in the process. Really nice Q there by Life to take a chunk of his HP. Clid now trying to clear out the blue side jungle of Nidalee. Rascal, interestingly enough, he didn't actually opt for a cheater in this matchup. It's very easy to do against Kennen. And so I have to wonder if Rascal came into today expecting to play Volibear top a lot, as he's normally seen mostly only in the jungle.
Yeah, the Volibear top is definitely something that's coming in a little bit more. We have Ignite, though, coming down the route on top of the Karma at the same time. They're just going so aggressive with this life. It's going to get incredibly low with the shield. He might just have enough, and he flashes away. He's going to get away, and now Ruler's going to be able to kite them down. Not quite going to get the extra kill onto Deft, as Piotrek is going to come in. No flash available, but an easy sidestep with Inspire from the Karma, as Life and Ruler once again gonna show up and say, hey guys, we're the best duo lane in the LCK.
And right now, Ruler and Life really just putting pretty big damper on DRX's plans, because now Ruler is gonna find himself with a nice CS advantage at the end of all of this. Also got the first blood for himself. Meanwhile, in mid lane, BDD not doing so bad. Nidalee not able to really find any advantages early, and now this is going to be a very awkward jungle game to try to play at this point. You can see all of Nidalee's camps are up, but they're all up in different areas, and it's not so clear where Piotrek should try to path at this point. And he's the onus is on him. He's the one with the clock. He's the one with the timer. He's going to figure out something to do against this Hecarim. Now, Clid's coming in here. I'm not, you know, I mean, he is meeting Sir Grompulus. over here on the left-hand side. Oh, Piochik is going to find out. Oh.
Yep, they know. And immediately some assistance pings are going to come in.
What?
It is going around the world, and he's that fast horse. Easily going to be able to dodge that one, and says thank you, Doran, for the little bit of help there to get up to the top side. So that is a very sneaky horse, able to get in, get out, and steals away Sir Grompulus away from Piochik. So getting a little bit back and feeling pretty good about the jungle this time around.
And I think that everything right now on the side of Gen.G is just really going their way. The Nidalee is going to be pretty lost inside of this game now at this point. Piochik, it's going to be very hard for him to coordinate any sort of ganks, any plays here, because there's no summoners down in bottom. It's very hard to play against. Twisted Fate is about to be level 6 on this wave that is in mid lane. Piochik gets spotted out by the Hawkshot, and now everyone on Gen.G, they're playing with map hacks. Clid has very streamlined jungle clears available to him. There's not really a whole lot that he's doing wrong at this point inside of the game. Cloud Dragon being the first one is also not super high priority, so if you're Gen.G, you're fine to just continue to sit back in laning phase. And also Chovy, he's going for the Blade of the Ruin King here in mid lane, so it's not going to be the tank set that we've been expecting to see here. It's been very, very prominent in the LCK.
Yeah, Chovy is one of the guys that actually does like to mix it up and go for a bit more damage, not just the tankiness, but here's this bottom 2v2 as well.
And you can just see Keria, he gets the stun in onto life, the heal comes out there, and just barely Karma able to escape from death. And Ruler not having his flash available, does not chase on after death. Death respects the fact that Piochik on the Nidalee is there. And I mean, you just see the Nidalee right now looking for anything at this point in time. Ooh, Clid. He knows exactly where Piochik is. They're going to be able to collapse on him. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Piochik.
Here's
The Nidalee. He's trying to get over the wall. He's going to have to use flash as he hopped inside the pit. And now we do have Chovy in a little bit of an awkward spot. Rascal able to come down, forces 2 flashes out of DRX, and you can see that Cliddy's getting to work on that dragon. Double flash.
Think that we just lost Valdez,
pretty nice.
so I'm going to, Lone Soldier here back once again. Cloud Dragon going to be getting taken here by Clid. He's going to pick that up for himself. Life's going to return down to bot lane. Going to get the Scuttle Crab.
And we have
a pause has now gone out, and I am truly Lone Soldier, I guess. Honestly, I got nothing. You know, I don't have a piano. I don't have an ocarina.
So
all I got is, you know what?
We'll have
around this time that normally I would look for Crowny to come and carry me,
my headset actually
as usual. But we don't have him around
everything kind
here
of
today.
Falling apart here. How are you doing?
Are we
side LS?
Both?
Hey, over there?
Not sure what is
seems
going
like
on here. Not totally sure.
May have lost him. Perhaps this is an issue on my side.
Not sure. I don't know what's going on.
One moment, guys. We'll try to get this figured out.
This is like a horror story. Apparently, we are both communicating, but we cannot actually hear each other right now. So this is, I'm not totally sure. I'm just gonna stop talking.
Are you there?
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, hello.
Oh, yes.
I thought I lost you.
All right.
I thought I lost you, Valdez.
Sorry about that, guys.
We can hear our producer. I think that it's saved.
Yeah, I think it might have been on my side. Not 100% sure. But apparently the Gen.G issue is also a Discord issue.
So Discord went down in Korea, perhaps, as Gen.G was having Discord issues as well. Our Discord crashed, and so we apologize to all the viewers right now. Honestly, we were just in different dimensions, Valdez.
That's what it felt like. I'm like, I know you're talking, but I can't hear you, and You probably felt the same way.
Yeah. It was like in the movies when they get, you know, trapped in alternate universes or like the rooms. It was like that movie Interstellar.
Yeah.
You know?
Good movie. Big fan of that one.
I was in the Death Realm.
You were in the Death Realm. I mean, isn't that always the case?
That's always the case, actually.
Just taking vacations there. But we do have the game going.
Well, so at this point, I believe I'm back to being lone soldier. At this point in time, we got Clid.
Okay, I'm back. Wow. All right. Well, we got Set going down as well. Things, you know, it's very dangerous in the Death Realm LS. I'm sure you can understand. Things are flying around, and it's not always fun.
Well, this is definitely, it's a little bit hard to keep track. So let's take a look here. Chovy, he comes in here, he gets tethered by life. Gold card comes out, and there is the Hackram ultimate to get the kill again. And DRX, I mean, they're just falling further and further behind right now. BDD, he has Flash, he had Destiny Gate, but he's not going to go for it. Not trying to overextend anything, but Gen.G are just so far ahead right now. The itemization on Ashe, Ruler a little bit of a savant. He's going straight for the crit items, not trying to go for Blade of the Ruin King here. Inside of this game, they're up 1.3 thousand. Ocean Dragon coming up in just a little bit. With a better team composition and control of the game, things are looking real good if you're a Gen.G fan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just once again showing some of that prowess that they showed in their series up against the Freak. It feels like game number 1 might have just been a fluke, and they're coming out and looking incredibly strong in yet another series. So we'll be curious to see if DRX have a chance to come back in this one, as it's not looking too great so far. We do have Clid mostly holding up his end of the bargain in the jungle, has been staying even with the Nidalee. And, of course, has that 1 assist as, yeah, things are just looking good. The top lane a little bit behind, but we actually had double kill purchased, which seems to be more and more common here in the LCK.
Yeah, and everything right now for Gen.G is just about a waiting game. You're waiting for Rod of Ages on the Twisted Fate. You're waiting for the Trinity Force to be completed on Clid. Chovy getting a nice trade, but being AD set in this game is gonna be a pretty awkward task for him, especially because he's going the Blade of the Ruin King. And against the Ashe and the Twisted Fate, it's gonna be hard for him to reliably just deal damage. Kennen has already completed his call, so a little bit of credit there. At least for Doron, another red card coming out. Wild cards does end up missing. BDD not in the worst position right now. Chovy doesn't go for the face breaker, but it's not the end of the world. 40 seconds until that Ocean Dragon comes up. We're going to have to see who ends up getting it. Really nice face breaker, nice trade there. And you can see Clid, he's running around.
He's doing what horses do. They prance and they dance and they own the rift. And looks like he's just going to be slowly but surely building up to that Trinity Force, really trying to give as much presence and support down in the bottom side of the map as possible. He's showing mid, he's showing bottom side, he's waiting for this Ocean Drake. We got TF coming back now, and double teleport as well. Rascal getting pretty low, though. He's going to have to ultimate back, so trading ultimates here. Would imagine that Rascal immediately goes back and gets ready to TP into the fight, so that he is in waiting. Oh, no. Area, this wasn't it. That was not the play. And now they're looking for more. We got TF coming in, but with the TP coming in from the side of Chovy, they're looking to turn onto him. Chovy now trying to go 1v4, but not doing a great job. He's going to have to flash on top of that. And huge amounts of damage. The chunking coming out of Life and even Ruler's Volley is pretty massive, as Rascal actually wasn't even able to go back home, but still big wins coming here on the Rift once again for Gen.G as they take down the Ocean Dragon. Yeah, they're going to get themselves the Ocean Dragon. They get a nice win as well down there in the bot lane.
Clid, I mean, even to boot, he's going to actually RNG the Scuttle Crab, too, on the right-hand side, so that's another victory. Nidalee, unfortunate, she's on the left-hand side, not able to do anything. Now, Doran is getting ahead of Rascal, so they do have that. Also, missed cannon. As another turret plate going the way of Doran here on this cannon, so that's 3 turret plates for him. Up in top lane.
Yeah, feeling pretty good about that so far, but it is just one thing that is going correctly here for the side of DRX. See that light making his way up towards mid, just seeing what he can see, trying to get some vision. And Pyosik is pretty deep here, but he does have the support at least of Doran to be in the right position. 2v1, not exactly fair. We got another fight breaking out here in the mid lane, but Keria there. Life is not going to overcommit. And it's just slow and steady wins the race here for the side of Gen.G. You know, they're not trying to force any big plays with TF. They're not going for any dives just yet. Just trying to stabilize, survive, slowly take away the dragons. Nice little pathing here from Pyosik. We do have the ultimate available now for the side of Doran, but not available for Rascal. The stun comes in, and they're going for the dive.
Oh.
They just don't have the damage. The Merc Treads are going to be quite good for the side of Rascal up against Nidalee and Kennen.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems with trying to gank top lane, is that Volibear is able to itemize in a way that makes it pretty difficult for Doran and Pyosik to really do anything. Bot lane just continuing to feel the hurt. Meanwhile, in bottom, ooh, BDD.
That's not what you want to see. Pulls him out of the spear. Nice ultimate comes in from Chovy, though, as the 2 junglers getting to work here. BDD is going to be able to flash. Oh! The arrow is right on point. That's Ruler for you guys. He's done this so many times. And once again, he's going to take it down. Not even 100% sure if they needed that arrow, but it was just so beautiful and right on point. And again, I just don't understand why Ruler keeps getting Ashe. He's 13-2 on the pick. And once again, he's affecting more lanes than just his own.
Yeah, and things here for Gen.G are just continuing to go better and better for them. 2.5 minutes until the mountain. The Twisted Fate is just getting so big, so far ahead. Destiny Gate coming in, gonna get the flash out of Doran, and Hecarim, yeah.
See you later. Just one more card will do it, but Clid is actually going to steal that one. That's a nice amount of damage, but Clid with Merc Treads of his own, there's 3 Merc Treads, and now we got level 11 jungle. Level 11 top lane, actually, up against Pyosik, who is only level 9. The ultimate not quite going to get that effective damage, and so Rascal, you know, nice setup, but you don't win the ultimate prize of getting the kill.
Yeah, doesn't have enough damage. No Trinity Force really completed for the Volibear yet. Let's take a look at how this all sets up. So, you see Pyosik coming over, but you have Hecarim coming from the north. BDD not using the flash right away, just opting for the cleanse. He ends up getting superplexed on. The damage is really big, but BDD is able to flash out because Chovy's on cooldown. Doran comes in. Ruler really measured that ultimate perfectly, as Doran not able to add really any assistance. Ripchild gets captured. Destiny Gate on Twisted Fate, and that's how you have to wonder why Doran was taking such a greedy path back up to top lane. Not respecting BDD's ability to come in on that TF. And so now, as we resume back into live, we got more chaos.
And another arrow comes in. BDD, he's going to get smited, but it's going to be a 2-for-1 here as Keria. Not sure about that, buddy. Not really going to be able to get there on time. So 2-for-1 again for the side of Gen.G. And, I mean, Chovy at this point, he's trying so hard to make something happen, but he's 0-3. He's not really getting much effectiveness going with this mid-set with the play of the Rune King once again.
40 seconds until that Mountain Dragon comes up. That's going to bring Gen.G to 1 dragon until Mountain Soul, and that is such a nightmare for the set Nidalee and the Kennen. It's going to be so hard for them to fight. Obviously, Senna as well. Not really someone that gets a lot of pen until way later on into the game. Also going for lethality as her first item. So Gen.G get double Mountain Dragon. It's really helping invalidate one of Senna's items. And we can see here that BDD, he's setting up, he's waiting for Kennen. So Doran not going to have any sort of an opening, and Gen.G are so much stronger at this team fight.
They absolutely are. And I mean, DRX, they don't want to just give away free stuff, but there's just so much pick on the side of Ruler. Another arrow is going to come out. That was a little bit awkward from Clid, but they're still gonna send the message, which is, we're gonna try to poke you out before any of this gets going, and this Mountain Drake is ours, so don't even try to come in here. And they have a little bit of vision, gets taken out. You can see the entire team just gonna try to zone away DRX, and, well, DRX gets spotted by the Hawk. They're not gonna be challenging this one yet again.
Yeah, and you can see Clid, he ends up getting the Mountain Drake for his team. He just dinged level 12. Pioshik just dinged level 11. So an entire gold lead.
볼까?
And
미드 싸우고 있다.
we're fighting.
아, 나 죽었어. 잠깐만, 맞았다. 나이스. 세나 들어가. 세나 왔어. 상관없을 듯.
So, a lot of stuff being said, but mostly BD's just like, oh, I died, I shouldn't have died, and they both don't have flash, and I think it doesn't really matter, like, you still come ahead on this one, so good feels from the side of Gen.G, even though BD felt a little bit bad that he did go down. And it did actually turn into some greatness here for the side of Gen.G with that extra Mountain Drake. They've all got, well, most of them have some sort of magic resistance. I guess Ash is the only one without it. And so it's just going to make it even harder for especially Nidalee and Kennen, of course, to do too much effective damage.
Yeah, and I mean, things are, you can see that DRX, I mean, they're going to have to start moving into pick as basically their only way, and Gen.G are saying, you know what, actually, let's have another fight out.
Yeah, I mean, they were spotted, right? So the card is going to come out, massive damage coming in. Doran immediately going to get exhausted, does basically nothing in this fight. Two of them go down, Chovy's alone. Double kill for the Electric Bear. We got the volley coming in and BDD following up. Let's make it 4, they say. The arrow this time around is not going to land, but the auto attack is, as the card will follow up here, and that is, again, another clean ace from the side of Gen.G. They are making these last 2 games look so incredibly easy against DRX.
Yeah, I mean, this is what a lot of people were expecting coming into this series. Gen.G are just so stable and solid, capitalizing on this, and you can see DRX, they were looking to commit a little bit of sin down in bot lane. They were looking for a pick. They know that the only way they can really come back in this game right now is via guerrilla warfare-like tactics, and so they're trying to do that. Gen.G not really falling victim to it.
Ruler's just laughing at them. He is not going to get the last laugh, though, as it's actually going to be Life that turns up, takes the kill away. But, I mean, that's a teleport to just get on in there. I mean, flash double teleport used by Chovy and Doran just to get the 1 kill. That's not worth it, LS. That's not going to get you back in the game.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to be the thing that they need right now. 6,000 gold lead, not even factoring in the Mountain Dragon. For Gen.G, Death Dance almost completed on Hecarim. He is light years ahead. Deft good night, or, well, never mind. Oh, man.
Good night. That's what they're saying. Double kill comes in for Hecarim. Clid is just laughing at them. He is legendary at 21 minutes. The guy has just been stomping them quite literally with the horse. They're feeling those hoof prints right now. It's not a good feel. So they're going to pick off another 2 and just run at the Baron. Gen.G own this rift right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get the Baron most likely. Pioshik needs to be a hero if they're going to somehow stay alive inside of this game. I'm not even really quite sure how he's going to be able to do it. They don't hit the blasting plant. They're not trying to go for that, and you know what? Gen.G's going to say, actually, you know what? We'll kill you, and then we'll finish the Baron.
Ultimate comes in from Doran. He's going to get the Ashe, and I guess that's just about as much as you can expect from them at this point, unfortunately. Down will go the Baron. Nice try by Deft. It's just desperation at this point, though. Clid gets the Baron. He's not done. He's not done here. He's just running at them 1v2. He doesn't even need his team. As actually, maybe he does. Going a little bit too low. As in comes the Karma to bail him out, but at least is going to get in their face. Bait out at Ignite. from the side of Carrier and go home with
my
his
God.
Baron.
So he got it, and let's take a look at Ruler here. Watch his mouse. These are the things that are really nice to watch. Really, really insane mouse control. Even though he ends up going down, it doesn't really matter. There's a lot to gain from first-person views like this. You can really just see the difference in mechanical control out of elite-level players. And right here, I mean, this was just Gen.G taking whatever they wanted at this point inside of the game. And DRX, they don't have any way to really resist this. They don't have wave clear. If they're not ahead, their team comp can't really do anything. Chovy goes for the superplex in the replay, tries to pull them into Baron Nashor, tries to get a little bit of extra damage from the monster himself, but just doesn't matter in the end. Gen.G are just way too far ahead. And this is another decimating loss here for DRX in game number 3. And I don't know what anyone's thinking right now, fellas.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, you talked about the draft. You didn't seem very happy with DRX's draft coming into this one. And you were saying even before the series started that if the drafts were even, you know, similar or even level with each other, then Gen.G's going to have the advantage. To me, this series, it kind of looks like the Afrika series, except the laning phase goes a bit better for the side of DRX, but then they kind of just fall away.
Yeah.
And game number 1, they were able to push that advantage far enough to play their game. And Gen.G weren't able to outlast it, but I feel like they've tailored their drafts and they understand how to play against it better. And ever since then, in games 2 and 3, it's been extremely one-sided.
Yeah, I mean, things are going so well for them. Everything is looking one-sided. And Chovy, I mean, especially on these picks, the Azir with the Zilean, if he doesn't find edges early on, he's not going to be able to. Set.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Cover your eyes. You don't want to see this. As actually a nice follow up there from the side of DRX as the horse will be taken out by the Senna. And they are going a little bit too deep here. They were able to disable the turret, but DRX just forcing their way back into this one. BDD says, okay, see you later, guys. Nice. That was fun. I'm just going to go mid now. As the rest of his team, I mean, Ruler's got a Karma with massive shields, and he's just frontlining. We got TP coming in here. The turret actually didn't go down in the mid lane, but I guarantee you it will very soon. As, well, Rascal.
The demolitionist. All right.
Not there.
Well, they're just going to reset. Scores 4-20 right now. As Gen.G are just blazing ahead of DRX in this series. Rascal, he's going to take the blue buff. They're probably just going to end up resetting. And then there will be one final team fight. And if you take a look over on the side of DRX, all their items, they leave you feeling a little bit bad. I think the Morello is actually somewhat justifiable here inside of this game, as weird as it sounds, given the nature of how everything was going and how hard-pressed Goron was for immediate power in some of the fights. But there's no real big item breakpoints that are coming in that are ever going to really shift power back in DRX's favor. And so this is just an inevitable end coming in here soon.
Yep, certainly does feel like that way. And Clid, he just doesn't give a damn anymore. He's just running straight at them. He's got a Karma behind him. He knows that he has follow-up from Ashe, Volibear, TF. And he can just run straight at the enemy, and there's nothing they can do. So many flashes just had to be burned just from that one play. 3 were taken away. Pioshik, Chovy, and Keria all had to get out of there. And yeah, Gen.G just taking it slow and steady from here on out. Always threatening the dive. They're going to take down this mid inhibitor. And keep in mind, this is even without Baron. So really just shows you the state of the game as Gen.G are 11,000 gold ahead. They're going to look to take down the bottom inhibitor now, it looks like, with the rest of them split pushing the top lane.
Yeah, and I mean, everything going super well. DRX, this is going to be their last stand here as they try to make something happen, but probably just going to be a very clean ace in favor of Gen.G as soon as the fight actually starts.
Yep, nice amount of damage comes out from Deft, but, you know, I suppose that was the idea when they were considering this draft. They're like, well, we're going to have Doran and Chovy run in, and then with the range of the Senna, maybe we can get something done. That ultimate gets 0 damage, like literally 0. Look at their health bars. It's really not doing anything. And the Mountain Soul is just making it that more obnoxious on top of the Mantra shield. And in comes the horsey, clippity clop. Go the hooves once again, and down will go DRX. Light even going to survive here with a very nicely timed stopwatch, able to flash out of there. And Koshiki's got one of his own, but that's not going to save him this time around. Gen.G, they stomp him in game number 2, and they destroy them in game number 3. Not very close, this time around 25-4. Very similar to the kill line of game number 2. And Gen.G look poised. They are right on the doorstep of making those LCK finals.
Yeah, I mean, they are in so much control of this series now. They're up 2-1, but the manner in which they just came back in game 2, took command of game 3, and like I was mentioning, I thought DRX, they would start going back to some of their sinful nature, because I don't think they're ever going to be able to contend with Gen.G pound for pound, scaling versus scaling, because the tools just aren't really there. Chovy, very hard pressed to really come up with an answer, and I think a lot of that is because of BDD's champion pool can end up negating some of the control mages that would end up really being of aid. Maybe we'll see something like Ziggs try to come out, a champion that can just 1v9 if the game goes long enough, but we also see the influence of the bot lane meta starting to impact DRX. There's limited options for Def to really influence things, and with Pioshik being so wishy-washy, with Doran not really being able to influence anything because of his champion pool, and Rascal just being such a rock, I don't know where DRX is supposed to find an edge as we head into game 4.
It's definitely looking rough. I mean, we outlined the strengths of the two teams. We talked about just how solid everybody on the side of Gen.G looks to be. I mean, there's really no weak link on that team. There's nobody that you would say, I'm not so sure. You know, in the past, it's been Life, who was a little bit young and wasn't really showing up to big games. It was, you know, sometimes Rascal wasn't as solid as he is now. But really, everybody is coming together on the side of Gen.G to make an incredibly strong team. And they're looking pretty good. I mean, we're going to take a look at some of the highlights here. DRX's laning phase, we always talk about how it's so strong, but even down in the 2v2, not able to take this one, just outplayed straight up by Ruler and Life.
Yeah, and I feel like Klid, he was really all over the place on the Hecarim here. Just able to have so much influence over the game, and BDD able to have a lot more control with this Twisted Fate because Lucian wasn't there to tie him up in mid lane as such a strong, dominant lane champion. So they're going to have to find an answer to this. Otherwise, I think that Twisted Fate might just end up getting banned away in the future game, and things are questionable. What are they going to try to do? This is game point. If DRX has any sort of special picks, anything that's going to try to come out, now would be the time to do it. If they're going to pivot to Super Comfort or something, we might see Kindred come out for Pioshik or something. Or Deft might just go to try to play Ezreal so that he has more influence in the mid-game and late-game transition without being on utility champions. I'm not sure, Valdez. I really don't know what they are thinking at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough, right? They got dominated 2 games in a row. At this point, it's inevitable that the players on the team are going to begin to doubt themselves. They're going to begin to doubt the drafts. They're going to say, you know, what's going on? I thought we were really good. Why is this not working out? It's just inevitable, and it's really hard for any team to deal with, not just the young team that is DRX. And it's looking extremely hard for them. We'll see what they come up with. I'm very curious to see how the draft is going to go in game number 4, or if, you know, DRX can come up with anything, you know, of the likes of what they did in game number 1. I'm not sure who you voted for, LS. I would have voted for Klid in this one. And that's the scariest thing about Gen.G's team, is that literally qualified players, every single one can show up in any given game and carry. It can be Klid, it can be Life.
Yeah.
Or BDD, obviously. Rascal's done it before. It's incredibly solid.
나 투하려고 한다. 나 각 안 줄게.
캐넨. 조심하지 마. 74초. 많더라 5초. 이대로 쌍둥이. 나 없다. 핑 한번 좋아. 맞아.
하우터. 야, 세트. 나 투싸는 거.
맞아. 오케이.
갈 뻔했어요.
혼내려.
죽여.
죽였어. 나이스.
Kill him.
있죠.
야, 나 만화 없어.
잠깐 나 죽냐? 이러면 있겠어.
3판 남았다.
아니야.
다음 판
한판
내리자.
아닐 수도 있어.
One game left.
집중하자.
It's the last thing they said. They said focus, one game left. So the sights are set here for Gen.G. They know exactly what they need to do and what they need to focus on from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be it. And, you know, we mentioned the comfort picks for DRX that could come out or last-ditch effort for champions. I mean, the same goes for Gen.G now. If they have anything surprising that might throw DRX off kilter, if they have some special champion pick, now could just be the time to do it in order to just clinch the series.
Well, they've already showed us some really fun, and I wouldn't call it entirely new, but stuff that isn't exactly the known meta of what we're used to, right? We saw Zillion, we saw Hecarim in 2 wins in a row, and they were able to pilot it to just such a high degree that makes it look really difficult for DRX. But I'm very curious to see if they've got anything left in the tank, if we will have a competitive Game 4, or is Gen.G just going to run away with this one? We're going to find out, guys, after this quick commercial break.